Hi guys, today we'll be talking about AMO Residences, which is obviously receiving a lot of hype recently due to it being the next upcoming new launch for July. We've already got Piccadilly Grand and Live at MB already launched in May, both already hitting about 80%. Later we'll talk a little bit more about those, but not too much lah. Anyway, let's just move on with this. This is AMO's Residences concept lah. And disclaimer, as usual, whatever I show here is just based on my own point of view and my own research. It doesn't represent anybody else's. So make sure you do due diligence. Okay, this is just a little bit more of the concept that AMO Residences offer. In terms of some of the facings, you do get unblocked landed facing, and most of them should be permanent lah for now lah, according to the master plan. Okay, anyway, this is not something we'll be really focusing on. Land size is pretty decent. I wouldn't say very luxurious, but pretty decent. The number of units about 300 plus, and then you got one-to-one car park. TOP expected by 2026, but usually a little bit earlier. How early we don't really know. A lease starts in about August 2021. And then we do not have one bedroom over here. So it seems more of targeted towards the own stay, which is quite obvious for this kind of location, this kind of locality. You've got 49% of them at two bedrooms, and then 32% of 3 bedrooms, and the rest are of a larger unit size. The exact location is still not reflected in the street directory. For those of you who are using street directory, it's roughly around this area. You've got this coming small little road that is linking it. This a little bit further in lah. And then walking distance to Mayflower is not as straightforward. It is still a little bit of distance away. It is not like a 1-2 minutes walk away. It's probably like a 5 to 7 minutes walk, depending on how you walk, where you walk, and how fast you walk. Okay, and then yeah, just a little bit more illustration on the side of the development. So now you obviously don't see the greenery really lah. This was way back before. Now it's really I think already close up already. And then this is the rough site plan. You can see there is some landscaping, although not too much. They even managed to squeeze in a tennis court, and also you've got your pool over here, which is 50 meters, I think, which is quite decent. Okay, other than that, nothing too much. This is not what I'll be focusing on. As usual, we'll be looking at supply. 1 km radius, you've got these few guys over here. As you can see, is rather sparse in the area. So, and I added up the supply in the area for you. Before AMO Residences, you got 2008 units, and if you add in AMO, you've got 3002, which is okay. It is not that cluttered of an area. So at least in my own point of view, it passes the supply aspect lah. And then we put in the bigger developments in the area within a 1 km radius to compare and look at the prices of them, since we are going to be doing a rough projection for AMO Residences. And for those of you who already be observing the market, is very, very, very likely it's going to be launching above 2000 PSF for sure. I at least that's what I know. Indicative is not really out yet, but we'll see. Preview starts only about 8th or 9th of July. For those of you who want to arrange, please not just want to arrange, just arrange for a normal viewing. You just don't go and buy into those VVIP, or you put a sticker over here, makes you feel like you're a real VIP. It's just standard kind of marketing. Oh, if you book through me, then viewing, then I can give you VVIP slot, or we can give you discount. Don't buy into this kind of crap nowadays. I think it's quite standard, whether you get, as long as you get some agents from the major few estate agencies, you're probably going to be receiving the same kind of treatment, the same kind of price, unless the agent can't really be bothered to help you to the best of their abilities. Then too bad lah. But come on, in what era already? You go to Google Ads, you can see VVVIP or best price, early price, a special developer discount. Come on, this thing haven't even previewed yet, and I can't believe we are actually falling for that, or developer discount kind of crap. So please don't buy into that. Okay. So now we'll be looking a little bit more into the pricing, doing a little bit of projection and then risk management. I think this is something that we need to know and we need to be a little bit more cautious. But unfortunately, not a lot of people are able to see through the numbers. What do they mean? How do we compare with many other factors to make sure that whatever we see, the numbers here is actually an accurate gauge of what we are actually researching or analyzing. Okay, and as you can see, yes, everyone agrees on the number. Are we agreeing yet that PSF is going to be 2000 plus for OCAR? Yes, but nobody knows what it means. That one is, yeah, is really true, because a lot of people, it's like you know, when people talk about RCR, RCR today or selling at 2007, 2008. Actually, there's only one dude selling around there, which, okay, one or two of them, maybe one Sky Overturn, and then we got the other one, which is like uh the Canning Hill 3000 plus PSF. There's not many of them, but it doesn't mean it skews the whole. That's why I don't really like to use like RCR, OCR, CCR, that kind of thing, because it's still a relatively new term introduced by the URA just a few years back, and hence is not, and it's a little bit too generalized for you to do a proper research for the specific area that you may be looking to. That's why it's very important for you to know the various factors that are contributing to the numbers, and hence not just, today is just like this, that one is just like this. You gotta compare. You gotta compare maybe the land prices, how much are they actually profiting in terms of profit margin, blah blah blah. And then the characteristics of development, the dynamics of the place, what are your competitors, how much are they selling, and then what kind of competitors are there, do they have an advantage over you? All these you have to be able to know easily at the back of a hand. So we look at Sky Habitat as an example. We all know that Sky Habitat wasn't really a successful product as people would think it is, because after all, you got your Junction 8, you got your MRT, and this MRT got two lines over here. I mean, what can go wrong? Right? That's what a lot of people think. At that point, what can go wrong? And you realize that there are people who lost $600,000+ for a perfect location like this Sky Habitat, and then there are people who make $600,000+ also for the same exact development. Why is there a difference of 6 plus 600 minus 600? That means these two guys are buying into the same development but make a decision difference of more than $1.2 million. So does it mean that, today I buy into the good development, am I gonna be making money? Just because I buy into a good development, I confirm will make money. It's like today I'm buying into an Apple stock. We all know that Apple is, world's most valuable company. I'm not sure at this point lah. I mean, that's what you used to say, world's most valuable company. And then I agree. I feel Apple is a solid product. They have that branding, they have that monopoly when it comes to the iOS. But does it mean that today you should be buying in at today's price? And those people who bought in at maybe using today's price, maybe they bought in at 200, or I'm not sure exactly lah. Maybe I'm just using a future price because I don't think it has reached, after all the different splits. I lost track already because I haven't even bought it myself. But let's say today, if you buy into Apple, yes, Apple is a good company. But if you buy at $200 and then you realize that today you would have made a bad decision, how long will you have to hold in order for you to gain back your capital? And these are what some of the guys are going through, or rather went through previously. And then what are the timings that they should be letting go? All this comes into play, and those people who are not really looking in the market in depth, they are not looking at the numbers. Their focus is not in the numbers. Their focus is just on, I want to buy, sell. People tell me to buy, I see people buy, I buy. I see people sell, I sell. Then most likely these kind of people are what we call the the ones that cannot stock lah. And you can see over here, if we use break even as a comparison, we've got Sky Habitat around 1,004. Those people who lost money, you've got a whole range of them. You've got people got in at about 1,005, 1,006, 1,007, even 1,008. And then those people who made the maximum amount of profit, you realize that some of them even bought below the break-even prices. And hence, if you bought even below break-even prices, what will happen? I think chances of you making money in a good development is going to be very, very, very high. Okay, so that's why you can buy the same stock as long you can buy into the same stock or development, but you have to buy in at the right price. It doesn't mean that, oh, there's people say it's a good development or you got all the different characteristics, but you buy in at the wrong price, it's just gonna kill you. Sometimes even you buy into, wow, you got a characteristic fundamentally flawed product, fundamentally flawed development, but the prices are freaking that cheap, then actually you making money maybe has a much higher chance of buying into something that is so-called fundamentally good. So at the end of the day, it's really about your entry price. And if we look at this from a comparison, for those people who got in at 1,004 PSM, the developer only made 2% profit. 1,005, 7%, 14%, 21%, almost 29% profit margin. And this guys is really quite a pathetic loss of $600,000+ for a 29% profit margin. So you can see there's a certain amount of risk over here. And then now we look at the performance of Piccadilly Grand. You look at the lowest guy, the lowest PSF guy. I don't think he's really gonna lose money. I think he's pretty safe. But he got in at 1,008. Come on, what can go wrong, right? But we got this guy who is a champion. That's why this is how a champion looks like. For those of you who are wondering, okay, this is how a champion looks like. 41% profit margin. Wow. I think this guy really deserves a big clap. On the other hand, on the average, they are selling at about 18.8% profit margin. And this is just one of the launches in May, one of the more major significant launches in May. The other one we all know also live at MB. Minimum, that one was 1+%. This one was 10%, and for cheapest was 10% profit margin. And honestly, I think even at this price, I would have hesitated a little bit. But guess what? This guy got a record low in the whole development. And then you have got this guy, even more champion. He is the real champion for the people. He will be the one that everyone in the development loves and will clap for, because he is the one that tanked the 51% profit margin and hence bring up the price expectation for everyone in not just the development, but also in the entire area. And that's why there were some other existing launches at that point started moving as well, because thanks to people like this guy. For them as a whole, they transacted at about 27.6%. Compared to Piccadilly Grand, I think they were 18 point something only. I mean, that was really a bit okay, quite decent already. This is another I think in recent few years, this is rather been unheard of. But unfortunately, or rather fortunately for the developers, they managed to make a killing out of these people. And both of them are already 80% sold from last I checked. And now today, we based on this average, we got 18.8, we got 27%. And if I just want to be a little bit more conservative, I go for 20% profit margin for AMO. Based on this, how much will this be? Okay, let's just see, maybe about 12820, maybe about 2002. Okay, so maybe about 2186, I got around 2002 PSF. Okay, that is roughly what we will expect. And I think given the low supply and then the high amount of anticipation, the high amount, the pure amount of hype for these AMO Residences, I'm really not surprised if it hits 2,000 plus to 2003. And then what kind of price will be acceptable? That one we really have to see. That one is part of the risk management that I do for our clients. So if you are worried about that, then you may want to drop me a text and I see how I can help. So anyway, for those of you who are been looking up, with different agents or looking at the talks or here and there, yes, this one is a Panorama. They made a lot of money. In fact, 100+ people made money. None of them lost money. And if you've seen, right, a Panorama is within walking distance. Not say like really walking distance, but within maybe about 10 minutes walk. So it's still in the vicinity. He have made a lot of money. He has made, I would say, truckload of money in today's climate. But we'll look something, maybe we'll point out a little bit something different about Panorama that may make you think of AMO in a little bit more cautious way. Why? Because those people who really make money over here, look at their entry price, they got in at about 1,001 to 1,003 PSF. And for those of you who are wondering, a lot of them didn't buy in during the first launch price. They didn't get in. That's the funny thing. A lot of people till now still thinking, I gotta buy in because on the first day I must go and camp, I must go and vote for the ballot number because my grandma, my parents, my friends, my uncle, auntie can tell me the first day is gonna be the best price. And hence, especially in today's market, it plays into the developers' hands. Developers also know what's going on. They know how you think. They know how the common people think. And come on, they have been in this trade for how many decades already, most of them. And obviously they know how people think, and of course how they know how to turn the market in their favor, since it is the seller's market right now. And if you realize, for Sky Habitat, a lot of the people who lost the money actually were the first movers. And those people who got in later actually managed to make more money. Right, so it's not about whether you chong there first, you get the best price, you get the best number. It really depends on a lot of other factors. It's not just as simple as that. And also, if you take a look, the break-even price for Panorama estimated was actually about 1,003. That means this whole bunch of people, a large percentage of them actually managed to get in below the break-even price for the developer. And if we take a look at this, if they manage to launch up to 20 to 30, or maybe like this champion over here 50%, I would say good luck. Let's just clap hands for the champion, Leaf and MB again. Okay, a moment of silence. And then if we take a look, if we compare back, let's say this is about 150 per increment. Okay, so this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we got 450. We got 450. So that means if AMO launches around this level, and then you've got here, the price gap will be around about 500 plus PSF gap. You have to decide and compare with your own research how much is a worthwhile price for you to get into. And as for the master plan, you've got AMO over here, and then you get this guy is already a HADB. This one is still unknown. This is going to be the road that opens up to AMO, and then this is still a reserve site, and then you've got this one, some detail planning. But at least there are still some land available for further development, which may or may not push up the price depending on what is going to be launched and what kind of climate and how much are they going to be awarded for. It's not just every next piece of land is going to be like this. It's going to be more expensive. If they launch cheaper than you are, then you're a goner. That's why it's very important to always monitor, see how the market is, see how much the land parcels around you are launched at, depending on kind of climate at that point. So verdict, I feel for AMO Residences, it has passed the supply test, and now then the characteristics are different, pretty much fine. The thing that we are more worried about is how much profit margin are the developers going to be charging, and how safe are you going to be positioning yourself. At the end of the day, if you're looking at this more of a risk kind of angle, risk analysis kind of angle, because you are an investor, then you have to be very particular about numbers. You have to be very particular about your entry prices. It's not just today, this one is the newest launch, and it's not like watches you can buy from ADs. That is from what I heard from some of my friends and clients, or they buy from ADs at better price. It's not always the case like this. And you have to go and do your all these comparison analysis, and then you go and see how much is actually a good price, a safe price for you to get into in terms of investment. And of course, if you have no idea how to do this and you really need my help, then just drop me a text like I mentioned, and I'll see how I can help out. For AMO Residences, I think a very important thing is you gotta know and be very, very clear and certain about your entry price. And also, it's not just your entry price as a whole. You gotta compare also with your neighbors, how much are they getting in comparison? Is there a lot of difference within the same development, or is there going to be a very, very small amount of difference within the same development? And if that is so, what will be the strategy for each case scenario? Because we have seen quite a few developments in Singapore. We have the PSM margin is going to be like 600-700 PSF kind of margin for the same kind of development, whereas on the other hand, you've got some that are within just 100 to 200 PSF kind of margin, even for big developments. And hence, are you able to exploit that kind of pricing differences to your advantage? And how are you going to do it? And where are you going to find these deals? So I think one thing we need to address today in today's low supply climate is that one thing, okay, why are we talking about this? Because I've got quite some inquiries recently. They come to me ATT today. I've been looking at the market for a few weeks, a few months, and then I realized that it's so much unknown factors. I don't really know how to see. I don't really know how to spot opportunities. So I think it's very, very important that you put in the hard work and don't just after we are talking about $1 million product, we are putting in at least a few $100,000 or maybe even $1 million for those people or more for those people who are putting in full cash. So it's only right that you spend a little bit more time. And actually, I do have clients who take leave to go and analyze property. And these are my favorite kind of people, because when I talk numbers to them, they know for sure. And then they make decisions typically within a few days. Why? Because they are willing to put in the hard work to dive into the world of numbers, to really know how to recognize opportunities. And these are and this is actually illustrated in this quote over here. Opportunities are usually disguised as hard work, and a lot of people, just because they don't put in the hard work, they do not want people to they do not want to put in the hard work, yet they want people like me to give them the solution. Hey, what should be the property I should be considering? What should be the property I should be investing today based on my budget? And when you finally tell them, okay, based on this, and what would be a reaction? A bit expensive. The people who already bought before me, they come in at a better price. I do have risk. I do have a risk as the kind of my risk margin is a little bit higher. But the thing is, if you do not know how to compare, then you'll be waiting and waiting and waiting, and you'll be rushing. And it's not that. And to be honest, I don't even rush my clients. The thing is that when you realize that, I'm ready, I want to look at this, and you get back, the unit's gone. That is what is happening, because there is so little supply nowadays. There is ongoing demand, or rather maybe even increasing demand for lesser amount of supply, and either the units are going to be snapped up fast, or the units prices are going to be going up fast. So, and then there are some people, wait until the last day of price increment. They'll be like, I wait, maybe wait until the last part. Okay, I want to buy this unit. Guess what? The unit's gone. Okay, why? Because they are also, at the same time, there may be also various groups of people looking at the same exact unit. Because you are not the only one in this whole Singapore looking at a certain opportunity. And if it's really an opportunity, there will be a lot of people looking at it. And a lot of people, they are still looking, I'm waiting for a discount. Yes, we do have some developments that are discount. They give discount. Okay, today we'll be selling at $2 million, and we give you $50,000 discount, but actually maybe the original price is 1.95, but they just inflated it to 2 million, and then they just go back to 1.95. You suddenly feel very happy, which is typical marketing. It's not just applicable to property. It even applies to your typical supermarket sometimes. And this, as you can see, is in a supermarket kind of scenario. But at the end of the day, I think it is very important that if you really want to invest in property, you have to put in the hard work to really recognize your opportunities. If not, then no point asking for opportunities, because you just, okay, this is an opportunity. Really may, really may. That is the typical kind of thing. And then they'll be taking their own sweet time, going to do their research, and then some of them they go and ask for, go and hunt down all the data of all the different transactions previously, and then they compare, then they realize, I cannot short change already just because of maybe let's say 100 PSF. Whereas there are developments they cannot short change like 400 PSF. Those are a little bit more risky. But in the end, these people will either end up not buying anything because they see at the site, and end up what happens, their money gets eroded in the bank because there's a lot of fear. They do not dare to put the money into the stock market. They do not dare to put the money to property, and they'll just put it into banks. And as you know, the core inflation rate for Singapore last year has been like way over 5%. And that means your purchasing power is lesser by more than 5%. And that is actually something that I feel is very, very, very scary. And how are you going to hedge against inflation in that sense? So make sure if for those of you who are really trying to get into the market to make your money work well for you, please make sure you do your part. And if you don't do your part, then I do have some clients, just make sure they just basically trust me with their purchases. They just, okay, I tell you what, I trust you, so you just help me make a decision. And obviously I don't make the decision, I just recommend, and then they take 1-2 days, and then they just go ahead. And these are the kind of people that I feel they are not say lucky, they are lucky in the sense that they don't think too much. Sometimes when you think too much, it becomes like a mind block. You don't act on opportunities, you miss them, and then you look back, last time I should have done this, last time I should have done that. Like for example, today you look at certain developments, let's say Jskip. That time I remember 2 years ago, when Jskip was selling about 1,008, people were saying, wow, so expensive for that kind of location, is paying 1,008. You got other areas, in the area selling about freehold, some more selling way cheaper, a few hundred PSF cheaper. But I can safely tell you, the same guy who bought 1,800 PSF, today he just throw out at 1,000, not even 1,800. You just throw out the unit, let the unit bounce out at 1,900. There will be people who snap up within less than half a day, or maybe even just a few minutes. Okay, why? Because market is always back looking. They look back. It's just a matter of how fast your development provider is fundamentally sound, how fast it reaches the resale kind of expectation, resale prices kind of expectation. If it reaches that, then people will be thinking, and then your new launches are the one that is pushing your the benchmark, the kind of expectation there. And then when people look back, hey, this one resale price really there, and then I can move it straight away there. And what happens? People actually buy it from you. So that same guy, my client bought 1,800 PSF. There were already people who transacted for more than 2,000 plus PSF. And is he going to cash out? Not yet. We are still waiting because we are still confident that it's still going to be going up more. And how long did he take to make a decision? I think actually 2 weeks from the moment that he started exploring the market. And now that he look back, the only thing he mentioned that instead of buying 3-bedroom, he bought 2-bedroom, and he said that his only regret is that he should have ordered a 3-bedroom. But I don't blame him, because at that point, like what people say, 1,008 is expensive at that point. But now that you think back, actually it's not that expensive for the kind of location. So make sure you know your stuff. And how do you do it? Make sure you spend the time to go and look into the numbers properly in the right way, or you trust a professional to do it for you. And hence, if you do have questions, or you need help with your property investment journey, then just drop me a text, and I'll definitely see how I can help. That'll be all for today. See you guys. Bye-bye.